up, everybody? I'm Virginia Jones, and you're watching the latest episode of Virginia Tries Almost Everything. So today, as you can see, we're back in the kitchen. And last time we were cooking, and this time we're baking. I've been learning how to make bread. It's very exciting. But the thing about making bread is that it can take a long time, depending on what you're making or how much of it you're making. So I found this recipe where you make dough and you set it aside and you leave it in your fridge. Like, you make a large amount of dough and then you set it in your fridge to just be pulled off for different things like rolls, buns, biscuits, for whenever you need them. But that recipe, it seemed kind of bland. So I found another recipe where it had more ingredients like butter, sugar, an egg, things like that, to make it taste better, but I can still up that amount to having as much as I want. So, saying all that to say, we're going to be making some bread dough, and I'm going to be showing you some of the things that you can make by having just dough on hand at the ready. And why buy bread when I can just make it, and it's better for me, fresher, tastes better, cheaper. So let's get into this. This is where our travel begins. This is a crown full bread maker, and I used this when I was starting my bread making journey years ago, and I thought I was gonna be, this big, bread making person, but I didn't know how to work this because bread makers are a little tricky because how you put the ingredients in matters, and each bread maker is a little different on exactly how it wants you to put it in, or just, I don't know, it's kind of finicky to me. So I like put it away and like hid it away and I didn't use it. But now we're not even gonna be using it to make bread. We're just gonna be using it to knead. So like if you have a stand mixer, then you could just use your dough hook attachment. But the YouTube checks aren't hitting like that yet, so I don't have a stand mixer. So we're just gonna use this on the kneading setting, and we're gonna start putting our ingredients in. And you'll see it has all the different settings, basic, French, all that stuff. I'm trying to get you in here. Okay, so we're gonna go down to 11. And it only kneads for 18 minutes, but that's okay, because once it stops, you can just restart it again and it's fine. And all it's gonna do is just basically just mix and knead the dough for you, and that's gonna save you even more time in making a better recipe or technique video. So you just dump all the ingredients in, you have it mix up, then you leave it in here to rise for a little bit, until it gets to the top of your mixer. Do not leave it in there and just forget about it like I did yesterday, and it was all over my bread maker and that was a big mess I had to clean up. But and then we're gonna transport it into our container that we're gonna be putting it in the fridge in. So first step, we're gonna put our ingredients in the bread maker. First ingredient is 3 cups of warm water. It needs to be warm or else it's gonna take a really long time for it to rise. 2 tablespoons of active dry yeast, or 1 packet. I have this bread machine yeast, so it's pretty much the same thing. But yes, 2 tablespoons of that, or 1 packet. 1 egg. It doesn't have to be at room temperature like some recipes say, because the water and the butter are going to be warm. So just 1 egg, a whole stick of melted butter, maybe like 2 tablespoons of sugar, maybe 1 tablespoon. I'll measure it out. Some salt. I just have some pink Himalayan salt because I used up all my last salt in my Thanksgiving video. But some salt, about 1 tablespoon, I guess. And last but not least, the flour. But I'm actually going to turn this on and have it start mixing before I put the flour in, and I'm going to add it gradually so that way it just doesn't get all clumpy and like not actually mix the whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.5. I just had to do a little bit more because I've been going through this dough like crazy. Like, I literally just made some yesterday. So I'm gonna add a little bit more and see how that goes. But if this is your first time making it, then just do the 6. And this is what I was talking about with it being kind of lumpy and not like getting all the way. So I'm gonna take a spoon and kind of like help it along because unlike a stand mixer, this only has the thing at the bottom and it's really small. So gotta kind of help it out. Make sure it gets everything incorporated. See, the liquid's all the way down there. Gotta kind of help it out. Because you want to get it to where you can actually see it moving. See how it's just kind of barely moving right there? You want to be able to see it really moving around, so that way you know it's kneading. So this is how it looks right now. I'm going to kind of leave it alone for a second and let it kind of percolate. And then we're going to come back and we're going to poke it some more and get it more incorporated. Alright, so it's gone through its first rotation of kneading. And you can see now that the liquid is now starting to poke through more. So we're going to reset it back to our kneading. We're going to start it again. Now we're just going to start pushing it down again. Now, of course, I think I said this before, but if you have a stand mixer, then you probably won't have to do this. But gotta get it how you live. And then, of course, if you don't have either of these, then you'll be kneading by hand, which is just gonna take a while. But is of course how they did it back in the good old days. So that's no shame in that. All right, so you see how it's moving a lot now? That's because it's starting to really conjoin together. All the dough is starting to get wet. So we're gonna leave it alone one more time. And if we need to, then we can turn it back on. But I think we should be good. I think we've helped it out enough. But yeah, that's what you want. You want a lot of movement. So yeah. So I just peeked over at it again. It still has 7 minutes left on the second rotation. But look, it's all come together now. And the more it kneads, the more it's gonna pull away from the sides and whatnot. And it's gonna get smoother. So I think I will run it one more time just to get it nice and smooth. But yeah, so just gotta help it get all the flour incorporated. And now you have a nice chunky dough ball. So it's done its third and final time of kneading, and it looks a little bit smoother now. So you can do one of two things. You can either put it directly into the container that you're going to be storing it in the fridge, or what I like to do is to just leave it in here to rise a little bit, and then I put it in the container. So it just really is a matter of preference. So I'm going to leave it in here to rise until it gets to the top of the container, and then I'm going to put it in my separate container. So it's probably been about half an hour to 45 minutes, and the dough is now successfully risen to about the top of its little container here. And so I could let it go for a little bit longer, but I'm not gonna risk it because, like I said yesterday, I let it go too much and it literally like spilled over and was like growing outside of it and all in the crevice here, and it was just a mess. So we're gonna take it out and we're gonna dump it into this nice container that I have. I bought this on Amazon. I'm gonna link it in the description because it's terrific. It's just, 6 liters, and it's real small, doesn't take up a lot of space, so it's really good for staying in the fridge for long periods of time. And I'm just dump the dough into here, and this is where it's gonna stay in the fridge until I use it all. So now we have all of this wonderful dough, about 3 liters, I'd say, about 3 liters of dough, which, depending on how much bread you make, should last you up to 2 weeks, because that's how long this will be good for. But I mean, that doesn't even, it never gets anywhere near 2 weeks in my house. It's always gone probably within a day or a week at the very longest. So now we're just gonna cover it with some cling wrap and then a towel, and it's just gonna go in the fridge. So now I'm gonna show you guys some of the things that you can make with this dough just on hand. So these are soft pretzels. I put them in a gallon bag and I made a bunch of them. So whenever Mario gets off work or before he goes into work, he can just grab one, put it in the toaster oven, and eat a little snack. Or for me, if I'm just not feeling up to making something, I already have a little snack right here. So let's see if I can pull one out. So here's one. Some of them are smaller than others because I'm still learning. But yep, I made these yesterday with my dough. from the 2 previous times ago. So I made some dough yesterday that I made some stuff with, and this was made from the time before that. But yeah, these are cheese pepperoni pizza ones, and just mozzarella cheese with some pepperonis on them. Put butter on it once it's done cooking, and you have this really simple snack to make that's ready at will. Over here we just have a standard loaf of bread. I just made this, so still okay. It's not hot anymore. So yeah, here's just a nice loaf of bread. It's kind of short. I don't know why it didn't rise more. I'm still learning. So I'm teaching you guys, and I'm learning out of myself. So we're building it as we fly, folks. But I'm learning how to make bread, and so this is just some regular standard sandwich loaves. We don't eat a whole lot of sandwiches, but we eat enough to where I want to just have one on hand if we do want it. And it's real small, so you can go through it easily. And I can make other things with it, like French toast sticks, breadcrumbs, things like that. So this will definitely get eaten one way or another. And then over here, I made some hot dog buns. Now, these, like I just said, I'm still learning. So these are a little bit too hard. They don't look like it right off the bat, but they're not like doughy soft like I would like for them to be. I was trying to get them to be golden, but I guess I left them in there too long. So now they're kind of just a little too crunchy. But my aunt and I went and I gave her a hot dog because hot dogs are one of her favorite foods. And we sat and watched a little bit of TV and ate some hot dogs together. And I told her that I had made the buns from scratch. And she said, "Oh, I'm so proud of you." So that was a cute little bonding moment. But yeah, so those are just some of the things that you can make. Oh, those cinnamon rolls that I made for Thanksgiving, I used some of that ready dough for those. So I'll insert a picture of those here. And lots of other things, like pretty much most things that you make with bread. Like I'm gonna try to make tortillas with this. I'm going to make hamburger buns. I bought some sesame seeds, so I gotta make some hamburger buns too. And all types of stuff, like pretty much anything that you can make with bread or make with dough, you can use these for. Like you might be able to make dumplings, I guess. I don't know. Dumplings is usually just like water and flour, so. But pretty much like any kind of, like, you can make biscuits with these. You can make croissants, I think. So yeah, they're extremely versatile, and it's so low maintenance. Like actual work that you have to do is probably like 5 minutes altogether, even though it has to do a lot of rising and kneading and whatnot. So if you're kneading it yourself, it's gonna be a little bit more hands-on. But overall, just when you have people coming over, or if you just want some bread fresh, you just take it out of the fridge, you pull a clump of it off, you make what you want to make with it, and then you still have some more left for whenever you want to use it. So I think it's great. I'm so glad that I found this technique. I'm gonna link the videos below that I used to come up with this. And yeah, so I'm gonna see you guys with something else new next week. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and push the bell to be notified on all the things going on the Virginia Tries channel. Be sure to drink plenty of water, guys, and I'm gonna see you next time. Bye.